everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue and I am back for another American Horror Story Freak Show review. I hope you all had a beautiful Halloween, a ghoulish one at that. Yes, Halloween is my favorite time of the year, you guys. So please indulge me with my extra goofiness. Okay, thank you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you for joining me, and let's get into American Horror Story Freak Show review. We meet Dr. Mansfield and Miss Rothschild at the beginning of Edward Murdrake Part 1. So the doctor shows up trying to sell a fetal goat with a cat's jaw sewn on and trying to pass it off as a baby Sasquatch to this museum that collects all the body parts and oddities of freaks and people with all kind of different disabilities and just, you know, weird chemical body makeup, okay? Like, that's what we're collecting at this museum. And the curator tells Mr. Dr. Mansfield and Miss Rothschild to get the fuck because nobody has time for that phony shit, okay? This museum is about to go under and television is coming a craze and people would rather stay at home and watch Ed Sullivan than come to a museum full of freak shit they've already seen. So when the curator goes to the back after giving them the dismissal, the owner says that basically she is going under and she will not ask many questions if they can find something really authentic and really unique. And she also informs them that the liver that she has, the two twin livers of the Siamese twins, Chang and Ang, we've heard of these famous Siamese twins before in Freak Show, okay? And their livers are worth $5,000. No fucking games. 5 G's. 5 stacks. 5 of them big ones. Okay? So this, you know, this tingles the ear of Dr. Mansfield or whoever he is. So these two people who are not who they say they are go down to Florida to one of the last working freak shows, to Elsa's freak show, to try to find some freaks to cut up. So he sends Miss Rothschild down there. And she's passing herself off as a psychic named Esmeralda, while he plays fun games with some gay guy. Okay, it looked very weird. He had him dressed up in some costume. And then, you know, they let it be known that Dr. Mansfield has a huge Johnson. I didn't want to know that. I don't really care. They could have kept that scene to themselves unless it has something to do with the storyline, which we don't know. All we know is he's into kink. Okay, so she has this psych gift, okay? She has the gift. If you've ever seen the show Psych that used to come on USA, I love that show, okay? I know, you know that I'm not telling the truth. I know, you just don't have any proof. That's my shit. Anyway, sorry, get a little bucked up. I can watch Psych all damn day. Anyway, so Psych had this power where he would be able to zero in on the smallest little details around someone's room and pick it apart and basically deduce something from the clues. And that's basically what she does. She comes into the room and she does her breathing and she loosens up. And she breaks out her crystal ball and she mind fucks Elsa. She basically says that, you know, she sees inside her ball that there's a woman with applause and everyone loves her, but it's not you. And then she brings up the name of a lady who supposedly took all the jobs away from Elsa. That bitch ruined her career. You know, I'm sorry, the Russian accent, the German accent. Everybody had to correct me so hard about that. And I was like, oh my God, you guys. And then when I said Ethel the bearded lady had an Irish accent, they're like, no, that's a Boston accent. And I'm like, have we ever asked ourselves who, like, the Bostons are innately? They're the fucking Irish. Okay, all right. So let's not, worry about the specifics right now, okay? She may be from Boston. I don't even know, like, the Boston. I don't know. Her accent is very weird. It's cute. I can't really do it, so I will not attempt, okay? But all I know is the bitch sounds like she from Ireland, okay? Ireland, all right? I'm sorry, y'all. I had to say that shit. Anyway, back into character. So she tells Elsa that a dark stranger is going to come and turn her into a star and applause and everyone will love her and it'll be fantastic. And once again, Elsa will rise as the talent that she is. So she's got all her hopes and dreams together for some dark stranger to come and save her. But I'm like, don't save her, because she don't want to be saved. I want to be saved. Okay? And we're going to get into Elsa's backstory for real on this review. I am not playing with y'all, okay? So we find out this episode as well that Ethel has cirrhosis of the liver and she's dying. And the sweetest old doctor you could ever have holds her hand and tells her that she only has about 6 months to a year to live. And she's like, Doc, you know, I'm not crying because I'm going to die. We all die. I'm crying because never in my life have I had someone treat me the way you did. And I just wish I would have met you sooner. And I'm not exactly sure if that's the accent, but that's what we're going to roll with for right now. Okay. So, sad moment, but still life moment for me. She hasn't picked up a drink since Jimmy's 18th birthday. So, she informs the rest of the freaks that there is no shows on Halloween because it is the Edward Mordrake curse. Whenever they perform on Halloween, Edward Mordrake comes from beyond the grave, creeps into the freak show, and picks someone to take back with him to the other side. So, this rich genius, that's who Edward Mordrake was. He was a rich genius, and he had like another head on the back of his head. I mean, it was fucking creepy. It had to be the creepiest mutation I have seen on this show yet. That fucking head creeped me out. And it is said that the head would speak crazy, evil thoughts to Edward Mordrake. And eventually it caused him to go crazy. He went into an asylum committed by his parents. And he would try to work on poetry and scores and music and whatever he made, but it did not work. It kept whispering to him. He tried to kill its Minty away, but nothing worked. So eventually, he went to a freak show, performed a great show, killed all the freaks, and hung himself. And it said that the face on the back of his head was still smiling, even though in death. And it's all very creepy. So now we have Edward Mordrake and his curse. So Dora, y'all know Patty. Patty is Dora, and she's dressed as Woody the Woodpecker. Kind of scary, right? Creepy. You don't like it. Anyway, she's made dandy at Miss Gloria's request, of course, a red Howdy Doody costume. And I have to say, this was a nice damn costume. Me, myself, would have been very appreciative of all the shiny red material, okay? But not dandy. He freaks out. Howdy Doody. Is it stop it. I hate you. And he completely freaks out. He goes into his room, cuts up the costume, and puts together a shiny, clean clown suit that is still kind of fucking creepy, okay? I don't know why he wanted to be a clown. It's like you can't pick your own scary person to be, but whatever. And rolls up on Dora, and she confronts him about the dead animal. She was like, I didn't raise you since you was a boy, okay? Since you was down here. I'm not scared of you. What you gonna do? You ain't nothing but a pale, pissy white boy. What you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. Get your ass out my face, dandy. She bitched him up, okay? And I hate you, Dora. I hate you. You know that shit that he does every time somebody doesn't give him his way. Little bratty ass bitch dandy. I can't stand this character. Anyway, he runs out because he pulled the knife out on it. She was like, you gonna kill me, boy? It was just like, it was just so black lady. And he runs out and he runs down to the clown in his bus and he starts to mess with those kids, poking at him with knives. And then he breaks something off the bus that's really long. And before he can take it out to start to stick and, and stick and try to, fuck with people, the clown shows up with this boy that he took, okay? Now, the boy was from town. This little girl was in her costume and she's running around the neighborhood, and her mom, you know, was like smoking cigarettes and drinking martinis while watching the kiddos. And her brother dresses as a clown just so he can scare the shit out of her. I mean, her brother is an absolute little fucking jerk, okay? So the clown decided to take his ass. And Dot tells Bet that she is going to work hard and save her money and find a doctor to do this surgery to cut them in half. She was like, you wouldn't miss me? I would miss you. You know, like the other sister, Bet, is a little off. That's why her neck be like this the whole time. And Dot is very up and erect. And it's just weird to see the comparison, but also must be really awesome for the actress to be able to play both of those characters like that. Because you really have to embody physically and mentally and facially everything. You have to embody the different personalities in one body. But when you see her turn around and walk away in the episode, and you can kind of see how stiff it is and how she has this other, you know, like attachment on, it just looked really fake, and I was mad. I'm like, if y'all not gonna get that shit to look right, do not show the body walking away, you know, all fake and shit. Don't show us that, because that made me mad. I was like, that shit look fake, okay? This whole time we watching, the shit look real, and then y'all make this whole walk away from me, and the shit look buku fake. I'm just upset about that. So, you know, the main thing is that Dot is like, fuck all that. If you gotta die, bitch, you gotta die. But I'm gonna be happy at the end of the day, because neither one of us is happy being fucking stuck together. But I'm like, y'all don't even have two different cooches. Like, bitch, what are you gonna do with all this extra neck right here, all this extra body you got? How you gonna like do that shit? Like, y'all share a body. Y'all have two heads, one body. I'm gonna need for you to just let it go. I'm gonna need for you to learn how to be a two-headed Siamese twin, bitch, because I don't know how it's gonna work out for neither one of y'all. I mean, this is what, the 40s? Ain't nobody living. Ain't nobody living if they get... I'm just saying. Come on, get the fuck out of here. I don't know who she thought was gonna be able to perform that surgery, but all right, Dot. You dream big, bitch. What? Dream big. So, meanwhile, Dale's ass got 3 titties, a dick, and a vagina, and he can't get it up around this motherfucker, okay? So he done pissed off Desiree, and she runs out of the trailer on him after he tried to choke her up, but she was like, you better get your hands off me or you'll never see me again. And I was like, and he backed up all scared, and I was like, she gonna take that dick from you, boy. So basically what we coming at here is that Dale is really gay. But because you can't be no gay man and be the strongest man in the world in the fucking 40s, you just gonna fuck the hermaphrodite with 3 titties and, you know, try to get in where you fit in. That's basically what we fucking with Dale. Because the fact that he was even with Ethel with the beard lets me know that you got an attraction to something that is masculine in both of these women. And you just don't want to admit that you're gay. But him and Ethel have this little, like, moment this episode, because she found out she's dying. She starts to drink again as to accelerate the death process, even though her doctor told her not to do that, and she didn't seem to want to die. So it was very confusing on why you decided to just become a lush all of a sudden. But she asked him, did he ever really love her? And he says, no, he never really loved her. Don't you know a man will fuck anything? And we like, oh yeah, we know. But do you really stick around and make plans and get a bitch pregnant? Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. You had to have some type of feelings at some point, Dale, yo bitch, you. I don't like him because I feel like he could have gave her that moment and said that he really loved her, even if he didn't, because at the end of the day, the bitch gonna die. And if that would have made her feel better, he should have gave that to her. But you know, he an asshole. The only thing he really did admit is that he could have been a better pop. And I'm like, you think you tried to kill your fucking baby? You think you could have been a better father, Dale? You think? I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway, so Elsa is performing this sad-ass song when Edward Mordrake comes in. I mean, she going off. I mean, I'm just a swaying back and forth and feeling the groove. And I'm not about to recite the song because, bitch, I don't know the song, okay? Are they putting this shit out on iTunes? I don't know. Anyway, y'all, he shows himself to Elsa while she's performing, but then he goes to Ethel first to get her story. And he's looking for a malevolent soul to join the other souls he's collected. Come to the other side. He's not that creepy. He's very, well, he is creepy, but he's very like gentlemanly and, you know, very, you know, Dry your tears, bitch. I feel like the actor who watched this had to read Iceberg Slim books or listen to Iceberg Slim audiobooks because his voice was very pimp-like, gentlemanly demanding. Dry your tears, bitch, and tell me your story. So then we get into Ethel's backstory. We go back to when she met Dell. First of all, she was a flap dancer. You know, she would dance on stage with these other beautiful dancers with her beard, and it would all be a joke, but she was in on the joke. Well, he got all in her head and convinced her that rich people want refinement, and rich people want her to perform fucking Shakespeare with a beard and a flapper gown. I don't know why he thought that would be more successful than her performing music, but whatever. We're gonna listen to Dell. He doesn't even know that he's gay yet, but we're gonna listen to him. Whatever. I digress. So she performs this and it's not popular. People don't like it. They don't have any money. They're struggling. She's pregnant. So he convinces her for one more show. And in this show, she's having her baby standing against a tree with, of course, the only person that would help her, some black lady, helping her have her baby on the side of a fucking tree. And it was just horrific. Him, look at the freak baby. 2 cents to touch the freak baby. Look at the freak baby. Look at my freak baby. 2 cents, ma'am, to touch the freak baby. And it's like, dude, that's your kid. You're awful. You think you could have been a better, you think, motherfucker? Like, come on. Come on, come on. And that was really her darkest moment because in that moment, like her son was born into being exploited. And she was like, that never should happen. My boy, I should have done that to him. And of course, she's not the one because she can admit her darkness. And what Edward is looking for is somebody who can't admit their darkness, it seems, okay? So then he moves on. Then he goes to the lady with no legs. And this, I think, is the next episode. The lady with no legs, she was born with a spinal condition. And at 2 years old, the doctors had to take her legs. Well, her fucked up ass parents dropped her in a basket in front of somebody's church and said, oh, well. And I'm like, so mother and father, and she 2 years old, and you dropped her off somewhere because she didn't have legs? Even though bitches walking around on her arms like it ain't nothing. I mean, them hands are feet as far as I'm concerned. She can obviously still do for herself. So why the fuck would y'all just drop her off like that? That was so messed up. So while she on the streets, scratching and surviving good times and shit, they got this black dude dancing his ass off. Dow, dow, dow. And it's like, what you dancing for? The bums that you dancing for ain't about to give you no money. But he dancing his ass off next to her no leg having ass, and she shanked him. Pow! Right in the back of the knee. And then that bitch, like she got the fuck. And she killed him. She must have hit an artery. She didn't mean to kill him, but that was her darkest moment. And then he went to Paul. And y'all know Paul got the little bitty arms, you know. He liked movies. He would have ruled the fucking world if he would have been born with a regular body, okay? So because everybody saw him as a monster, he decided to get his body tatted up like a monster. And when Edward asked him, why not the face? He says because up until the last minute, he got chicken. Because look at his face. He's a handsome lad. And when I was looking at him, I was like, you goddamn right, Paul. You got some mouth on you. And I love a good mouth on, you know, on anybody, but especially on white people. Because some white people don't be having lips. So when you see like a white person with lips, you be like, what that mouth do? You know what I'm saying? And Edward decided not to take Paul. But I was like, poor Paul, that's fucked up. So then we get to Elsa. He goes to see Elsa. And Elsa is flirting with him and telling him that he wouldn't be the first man to come expecting a lesson in love. And that, you know, this cat got his tongue. I mean, if they're going to work together, he's going to have to talk. I mean, I know her talent must be astounding to him. And he's like, woman, it is not your talent that renders me silent. It is your arrogance and your ignorant delusion. And he goes in on her. I mean, baby red Elsa for fucking dirt. You boast yourself with contempt for others. I'm not here to take you on to greatness, woman. I'm here to take someone with me to the other side. I was like, I'm not here to take you on to greatness. Does that mean I'm not here to make you a star? Or I'm not here to bend into them panties like that? Like, that's what I thought he was talking about when he said that. Because the next time a nigga tell me, I'm going to take you on to greatness, I'm going to be like, if the dick going to be that good. So, you know, she thinks it's some type of game, you know, so he gets his freaks to come up on and snatch her legs off and render her helpless so that she can tell her fucking story and stop with the facade. Because you're a freak, bitch. I know you think you're not, but you're a freak. So stop. So Elsa starts to tell her story. Y'all, Elsa was a badass dominatrix in Germany. Right before Hitler drove us into the war. Not even gonna try. Before Hitler drove everybody into the war, Elsa was working in like this sex club where people would come and get anything done, you know, by freaks and shit like that, I'm guessing. I mean, I thought I saw somebody with some weird shit going on. Like, I don't know, but y'all know the way they cut everything together and the graphics and the darkness. You're not exactly sure if you're seeing regular people or freaks. Either way it go, they was in there doing freaky shit. So they was some freaks either way, okay? So she's a dominatrix and she gets known around Germany for what she does. She doesn't even have sex with these niggas, okay? She don't have sex with nobody, but she demeans them and dominates them. And if you're in the kink and you need something extra, then you come down to Elsa and she'll give it to you right, okay? So this one particular time after she started doing what they call blue, I think that's what she said they called it, blue films. She gets these guys that want to tape her. And normally she has somebody on set, a boy, a girl, or a maid, or somebody to come, you know, I guess, and, you know, dominate or have sex with whatever you know, whatever have you on camera. And all of a sudden shit gets crazy. These dudes tie her up to the bed and she's noticing that nobody's there but her. And one by one, they all put stockings over their faces. And she's screaming, where's her co-star? Where is my co-star? In her language. And guy comes in with a fucking saw, okay, with the electric saw, and saws off her legs. She was drugged, but not drugged enough to not know what was happening and to not feel anything. So she had to live through her legs being cut off. They left her for dead. And some boy who was in love with his whore had came in right after they'd left and untied her and helped her. And she hated him for it because she wished he'd let her die when her legs got cut off. And I mean, that had to be the most fucked up story of them all. And the most fucked up part about it was Elsa was proud because the tape had reached other countries other cities in Germany. That made her feel like she was a star. It's like, I was a star. And it's like, you was a star for getting your fucking legs cut off. Elsa, let's please bring everything into perspective. Okay? So, y'all, that shit was crazy. So then, right before he's about to take her, because it's obvious that she must be the one, right? Well, no. They start to hear music all of a sudden, okay? Now, on the other side of town, Esmeralda and Jimmy are still out on the road because she had to make a phone call to Dr. Mansfield. And her and Jimmy are out on the road. They got hassled by a policeman, but she puts the sweets on and shit, and they get out of the, you know, they get out of Dodge. They're on the road. And while they're walking down the road because his motorcycle got messed up, they see that teenager that keeps trying to get away from the clown. And she knocked him over and she was running, but her hands were tied behind her back, so she couldn't even run that fast. So the slow-ass clown catches her, knocks her down, and knocks her out because nobody's eating around this motherfucker, and brings her back to the bus. Well, Jimmy, being a save-a-hole that he is, goes up behind them trying to see what's going on, him and Esmeralda. Well, then they both kind of get knocked over the fucking head by Dandy and they get captured. And Dandy is about to have this excellent show and the clown is just sitting there like, you know, yeah, show. And everybody's all tied up and Dandy's about to sew fucking Esmeralda in half. I mean, just going at it. And Jimmy was like, fuck this shit. So Jimmy untied his hand somehow and knocked Dandy's ass out, and the clown grabbed him, but he fought loose from the clown and he runs on a bus, and then Edward Mordrake comes out of nowhere. By this time, Jimmy had already let everybody else go. So Esmeralda, that teenage girl, that boy, and that teenage boy that had just got caught, they all ran for the police. And while they're doing this, Dandy's running after the girl, and she's like, "Fuck you, pencil dick." And Edward Mordrake shows up, and he asks for the clown to take off his mask. And man, I wish he would have kept it on. But yeah, there's no way for me to be able to describe the dark shit that was going on. And I'm going to explain, because we're about to go into the backstory of the clown. The backstory of the clown is that the clown was slow, you guys. He was slow, and he was a real clown. And he worked at the circus, and all of the kids loved him, and he got his own tent, and everybody was happy to see him. But then the dwarves were jealous, so they decided to start putting rumors around that he had been messing with little kids, and they made him run off, and he ran back to Jupiter. He went home because he couldn't get jobs anymore, because in a carny circuit, word travels fast. And the dwarves had told everybody that he was molesting people. So he went home to Jupiter, and his mom had passed away. And he was living on his bus making toys and not really paying attention to his health and washing himself because he's slow. You know what I'm saying? So I guess if he isn't happy and he doesn't have a reason, that's not in his mind. He's depressed, right? And he's making these toys, and he goes down to the toy store, where we saw one of his first murders, where he killed the toy store owner. Well, he killed the toy store owner essentially because when he went there to give him his toys that he created, thinking that he had another idea and he was going to do something good for once, and the toy store owner told him to get out. And he was like, "I'm a good person. I'm a good clown. Kids love me." And he's like, he ran up on this little kid. "You want this, right, little kid? This is your favorite toy, right? This is your favorite toy, right?" And, he just freaks out. And they kick him out. And the man calls, says, "You're one of those men that messes with little kids." And he's like, "No, that's a lie." And later on, he went back to kill old boy. And he decided that he was going to, get even with the freaks that ruined his life and helped all these kids. And in his mind, he's saving these kids from their parents. And that little boy, he saved that little boy from his mean mom who was making him do chores, got the boy a babysitter, and he was just saving these kids. I don't know what the ration was behind taking that high school boy, maybe to save the little girl. I don't know. But he kept trying to put on shows for them. Like, that's what he was thinking. I got them and I put on shows for them and the kids would love me again. And that's what he had in his head. And, that's not what happened, you guys. So he went home, like before he started killing everybody, he went home and tried to kill himself, y'all. And he tried to shoot himself in the mouth. And he was like, "I'm so dumb. I can't even kill myself." Because that's how all of his mouth and his jaw and everything was missing now, because he tried to kill himself and it didn't work. So he had to wear that mask, and he drew really hard into his mouth where the scarring was, and he made that smiley face until he found a mask to put on. And when he found that mask, he would go to the circus and see those freaks, and that's when he decided to start killing motherfuckers. And Edward Mordrake said, he was like, "I've never come in contact with someone like you. You are the one." Stabs his ass to death. He dies. When he wakes up, he's dead, and he joins Edward Mordrake and the rest of the souls that he's collected over the years, and now he has a full face. And I didn't know that they could make me feel sorry for the creepy clown, but god damn it, they made me feel bad for that clown. I felt so bad for him. So then Dandy comes back after the clown is found dead on the ground, and his crazy ass takes the mask and puts it on his face, and I'm like, "You're disgusting. You put that fucking mask that he had hiding all of that nasty shit behind, like he should have died from infection from that shit. How was he living with that shit going on? And then you take the mask and put it on your face, Dandy, you freaky motherfucker." The police come, y'all. The police come, and now everybody's a hero. Well, really, Jimmy's the hero. And they tried to pat Jimmy on the back, but Jimmy was like, man, fuck y'all. My friend died because of y'all. And he didn't even do shit. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all kiss my ass. And that's how he felt about it. But later on, the whole town came down to the freak show with food, and they were being nice to the freaks. And it was a joining of the freaks because they were so grateful for what Jimmy had done. Jimmy saved their kids. Jimmy saved the fucking town. So, pat on the back for Jimmy. Dandy, on the other hand, took that mask and went home. And for some reason, that mask now gave him the balls to kill Patty. Okay? So he rolls up on her and she's like, boy, thank God you're back. Your mother's upset, all upset. Upstairs, Lord. Your mother's upset upstairs. She's been worried sick about you. Now you take this off the hunt. Take that nasty suit off. He wasn't hearing that shit. So when she walked up on him like she was trying to push him out the way, move out of my way, boy. He slit her throat and killed Dora. And then, once he realized what he did, and that was the end of American Horror Story, The Freak Show. For this review, anyway. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to get it out there like that. Man, slit Patty throat with a pair of fucking scissors. I was like, Patty, why you ain't strong on that hoe? Anyway, y'all, that was American Horror Story, The Freak Show. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I tried to be as theatrical as I could under the circumstances. But, yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah, mwah. Love you.